Today I want to tell all of you a story about a girl who since young has seen her parents fought every single day. The fights were very, very bad. Sometimes this girl questions herself or whether her siblings had done something wrong to cause all these fights. But the truth was that their parents fight all the time because they were in business together. Since then, this girl hated business. She hated how a business can rip the family apart. She hated how a business can ruin a romantic relationship. She swore to never ever be in business. Slowly, she turned herself into music, and she wanted to be a musician. So by the age of 15, she was really determined that she wanted to be a musician. She wanted to make music her career. By playing music, she could actually spread love to the world. She thought that by playing music, she could heal the relationship between her parents. The truth is that music wasn't really her strength at all, because by the age of 4, she was forced to learn music. She was forced to go for piano lessons. She dreaded, she was so miserable, she didn't want to go for lessons, she hated the classes. But by the age of 15, she picked up guitar, and all of a sudden she wanted to be a musician. Upon telling her parents about this, which like any Asian parents, they freaked out and realized that the parents will not approve this at all. But she was persistent. So she took her piano certifications and enrolled into a music college and hoping to be able to become a musician. Soon after that, she found out that she actually became the worst guitarist the university ever had, because she either couldn't play a right scale on the guitar or she couldn't even identify notes on the guitar. So it came to her that she needed to practice, and she went on to her practice room and practice 6 to 8 hours a day. She eventually graduated from a music college, getting a music degree, not having A's. But it doesn't matter at all, because looking at all the progress that she has made, getting an A didn't matter at all. Because what mattered was that this girl was already a musician, she was already making music and making a living out of it. But making music wasn't what she really only did during her university days. She also volunteered her time to teach music in a refugee learning center. She eventually formed a choir because voices were free, and she did fundraising for the music, for the learning centers, because they were in dire situation to send more kids back to education. So in 4 years' time, she did a lot of music fundraising concerts. But the whole process was very, very tiring. For 6 to 8 months, preparing for the music concert, only then to raise a very, very small amount of money to send an insignificant amount of kids back to education. It just didn't make sense. It was absurd, and she had to figure something out. Upon bumping into social entrepreneurship, then she realized that, wow, there is actually a business that can actually have a social agenda attached to it and assist the communities. And so she gathered her 2 other co-founders, and they were thinking, what can we do in terms of business to try and assist the community, assist the refugee community that we wanted to help so badly? And they thought that, why not use cooking? Because every person in the household among the community can actually cook. And why not we introduce their authentic traditional recipe to Malaysians? And that was where the Picha Project was born. And the girl that I had mentioned to you just now, it was me. So my name is Kim, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Picha Project. The then musician right now is a social entrepreneur who runs a social enterprise rebuilding lives of refugees in Malaysia with a sustainable food business. The girl who swore that she will never ever be in business is in business today. But why? With all those stories that I've told you, why? Why do we start a social enterprise? Why do we have to strive, move ourselves to try and create something sustainable for the community. It was because of these numbers. 70 million refugees being internally and externally displaced day by day. The numbers are increasing, it's not decreasing, and this number is very daunting because if you come to think about it, it's 2 sides of the Malaysian population. And if I zoom into Malaysia, we have 150,000 registered refugees in Malaysia. But the problem is that our country is not part of the 1951 UN Refugee Convention. Housing the most refugees in Asia, we can't afford to let them work. We cannot afford to let their kids go for public education, and medical health care has very much compromised for people like them when they needed help. So we started the Picha Project, and a lot of people ask us, what is Picha? Why you name your company Picha? Very funny, your word Picha. Picha like Pika, Pika. Some people cannot even spell properly and call it Pikachu. And so I want to introduce you to this boy right here. This is Picha. He's 7 years old, and he came to Malaysia 5 years ago from Myanmar. And Picha has been showing us a very, very kind and generous spirit that encouraged us to name the company after him, because we want to help people like him. We want to remind ourselves of why we do what we do today. It was for people like him, it was for families like him, because this boy fall under the numbers that I've stated to you just now. 70 million refugees globally and 150,000 registered refugees in Malaysia. So the trio of us came together and we told ourselves, let's try to make something happen here. So myself on the right and Suzanne in the middle, who's a psychology graduate, and Sulin on the left, who's an accounts and finance graduate with no business background, with no F&B background, we did our first sales. This is our first sales to our university friends with very, very ugly packaging where we Google online, and we try to put a Myanmar cuisine together. There is Picha on the far right and Picha's mom in the middle, and we were actually introducing Myanmarese food to people, to Malaysians and to the public. And we were experimenting with this family for the first 4 months until we saw an application to apply ourselves into an accelerator program with Magic. And magic happened. These 4 months of experimentation, we thought that we would never get into the accelerator program because our revenue was so low that we probably would only able to feed ourselves ice cream. So we tried and filled up the application. We got in. For 4 years of business degree, it was crammed into 4 months. And 4 months, we had to learn business 101 on how to operate the business, how to hire, how to do financials, legalities, and we had to improve our photography, we had to improve our packaging, we had to get more and more families on board. So from Myanmar, we went to houses of the Syrians, the houses of Palestinians. We were traveling the world, except we're not really going out of the country. So we had to improve our packaging, and we started doing more better designs, and we put the stories of the chef on top of the boxes, and we started distributing to corporates where we do cold calls, cold emails, and try to get those sales secured. And then people were very enticed about the whole project. People were very enticed about the cause. But corporates came to us and say, usually they call us these dear Picha girls, we don't really need a lot of boxes to cater to our events and functions. Can you do catering instead? Then we're like so dumbfounded, we're like, what is catering? The only catering I know was going to Shogun to eat buffet, but I really don't know what buffet catering was. And on the back of our minds, we were like, we don't have all those equipments, we don't have all those resources, how are we going to do it? So this customer came to us and said, you have 2 weeks time, I have an event, can you do it? And we're like, hell yeah, okay, we'll do it. So we said yes, and because of that, yes, 70% of our main revenue is from catering today, just because we said yes. And then people were saying that, hey, dear Picha girls, your food was great, your service was top notch, but I'm not really feeling the cause. And then we were like, oh, you have a lot of requests and demands. But knowing that our Picha heroes, our customers really love us and we love them back, So we opened up another service. We open up the houses of our refugee families, of Picha families. Everyone comes in 15 to 20 packs. The families cook a feast, everyone sits together, we talk about the refugee issues, we talk about how Picha came about, we discuss how can everyone come into this whole cause and community to move forward together. And we've hosted more than 100 over of these open houses so that more and more Malaysians are aware about refugees being in Malaysia and the problem that we are facing internally and externally or globally. So in 2018 alone, these were our results, but we have been operating for 3 years, and we've been able to serve more than 100,000 meals to people, earning a revenue of 2.4 million in ringgit revenue, and half of them goes back to the refugee family to sustain their lives in Malaysia. And we've been able to serve more than 250 corporate heroes, people who supported us, people who understood our vision, people who believed in us, actually walked through us this Picha journey. And we've been able to also bring impact to people of more than around 20 families and around 100 individuals, 100% being able to pay off their rent, 100% being able to put food on the table, and most importantly of this, being able to send their kids back to education. So we wanted to tell to the world, hey, the Picha Project here has something positive going on. Let's put Malaysia on the map. So we went to UK, US, Europe, we tried to pitch our competition, and we went into the Shiva's venture. We were pitching in Amsterdam, and we got into top 5 of the Shiva's venture globally, and even won the Alliance Empowering Future Generation in Munich, Germany just last year. And all of those money goes into expanding the business year by year. And just last year, we were listed Forbes 30 under 30 and Prestige 40 under 40. And all of this was not because we won fame and recognition. It was never about that. It was about this. It was to put a positive face, to put a positive voice into the refugee issues that are happening today. If you scroll your Facebook, if you scroll your social media, you would see everyone talking about how refugees are being dirty, how refugees have no dignity. But this time, the Picha Project is here to use a business and change the way how people see refugees internationally as well. So yes, honestly, I still didn't like business. Because I can still remember the screams and shouts of my parents at the back of my head. But then I thought about this. If I could turn all these bad memories, all these painful experience into something positive, into something far greater than myself, and started rebuilding lives, I guess there is a really great deal of value in running such a business. And so, moving forward, I wanted to feature more and more people that actually does almost the same thing. I realized that I wasn't alone. There are people that are doing such thing and creating different projects, turning their negativity into something positive. And so I created this channel called How Can You Be You and Make a Change? And hence, that's my title today as well. I started featuring people who try and turn their painful experience and turn it into something that can actually impact the community. So I started interviewing people like this person, her name is Rocky, and she's a psoriasis fighter. If you look at her conditions of her skin condition, she would flare up every time she eats something that is not according to her diet. She would flare up every time she's under stress or exhaustion. It was a very, very painful, more than half of her life kind of experience. But she turned those painful experiences into something positive and created Project Naked, where she tried to get more and more people to be comfortable in their skin, where she tried to make more and more people understand why things are that way and how can they move forward together, creating a safe space for everyone together. And then I started interviewing this girl, this pianist who went through depression for a while. But then she came out and she realized that she could use those energy to actually create an impact. So she hosted fundraising concerts for Rohingya community. And I was thinking, wow, these people are amazing because they use their painful experience to do something. just like the Picha families. Because they have went through war, they have went through persecution, they have went through seeing their families being bombed right in front of them, they have went through seeing their families being killed beside them. But then they instead they use those energy to be able to channel into something positive, not just for themselves, but for the people around them. And I want to present to you world peace right here. So I ask every one of you in your seats right now this question. How can you be you and truly make a change? Because to be honest, these people that I presented just now are not Nelson Mandela, they're not Mother Teresa, they're not Marie Kondo trying to spark joy around. But they are just people who went through those painful experiences and thought that instead of staying where they are, instead of being depressed, they turn those experiences into something positive. I used to believe that I cannot run a business. I used to believe that I wouldn't be able to run a business out of love, a business with love. But then I am here. I am talking to you, and I am telling you that I've used my experience, I've used those skills to actually create an impact, to actually turn those things into something meaningful and purposeful. So if these people are ready, and I am ready to change the world, I am ready to make a change, what are you waiting for? So thank you very much.